How's everybody doing today? Is it busy? Is it slow?
Right. Waking up. Didn't have my full cup of coffee again, Wanda. I set it somewhere. I set it in the microwave and forgot to go get it.
You need to switch to cold coffee in the
I
summer. It's
know.
100 degrees.
I know. I know.
We
Very
just talked
quiet.
about that. So later in the afternoon, we have to have that
You have
coffee.
to have that coffee. Oh, Christy,
Yeah.
we talked about that yesterday, Christy, in Shop Talk. She's having like a blowout sale and getting rid of a lot of like her older inventory. Good for you.
That's fun. That's nice for the summer.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them are having a Christmas in July sale that I thought was genius. Getting rid of all of their
Christmas stuff
yeah,
or okay.
Christmas stuff, getting rid of old Christmas stuff that they don't want for next Christmas, like old Christmas inventory, mark it way, way down and just get rid of it. And
Yeah,
to bring a new.
that's great.
I wanted to go. I want to
I
go.
know. I want to go. I'm excited for Christmas.
I know you are in your new house. You want to get new Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get started.
Yeah.
We realized on the first session we didn't introduce ourselves. So we're going to introduce ourselves. We just assume that since we have so many members that attend these. But there's a lot of new faces as well. So we want to give a proper introduction. I'll go first since I'm talking. I'm Ellie Lefevre. I'm the creative director at Clique, and I'm going to be the one pretty much talking throughout this session. Next.
I'm Vonda Lefevre, and I'm the CEO and founder of Flower Click. And I'm not going to be talking this session.
But you can ask questions since you're
Yes, I
going to be
will.
learning
I
stuff
will
as
have a lot
well.
of questions.
Okay.
I am Lori Wilson, and I am the Director of Community and Education for Flower Click, and I will be Ellie's little assistant during this time. If you have questions, put them in the chat or the Q&A, and I will happily interrupt her whenever she takes a breath and make sure your questions get answered. And Beth, I see your chat. I want to say hello to your brand new designer who is new to Flower Click, Paul. Welcome. And we're
Welcome.
excited you are here on Camp Click.
Awesome. Okay, so this is going to be kind of a different session. It's going to be pretty informal. I have slides, but then after that, I'm going to go into like a live demo of Canva and just kind of play around and show you guys some stuff. So let's start here. My slides would go. Okay, so if you guys were in the first session, you know that you guys are collecting badges as you go. So now that you are here on your second session, you get badge number 2, which is the arts and crafts one. And then just a reminder, if you register for every session, you're going to earn $300 of Camp Click cash, which depending if you're a member or a non-member is a little bit different. So we'll get into that at the end after the sessions are completed at the end of summer. But definitely collect those badges. It's a fun little thing we're doing. So Canva, I'm going to break it up into the what, the why, and the how. The what and the why are just some slides to give you guys a basis if you don't know much about it. And then the how is kind of the hands-on part that we'll get into. Feel free at any point, if questions come into your mind, put them in the chat. And like Lori said, she's going to be monitoring them and kind of throw them at me as we go. So the what? What is Canva? Canva is an online graphic design tool, a digital and visual communication software. Basically, what I think of it as is like Photoshop for dummies or any of the Adobe programs, not for dummies, but more accessible to everyone and really like easier to use. It really takes kind of the stigma of, oh, graphic design is out of reach for us. It's too expensive. We have to hire this, all these different people to kind of do our digital image. Now Canva allows everyone to easily learn and utilize the platform in order to make things like social media graphics, posters, documents, all kinds of things that you will use across your digital footprint online. So that's the what. Now, there's a lot of different things. Canva has really exploded in terms of its functionality, whether that's just making a simple image for social media or an email, all the way to being an editor for videos, and getting even into like print materials. So you can actually design something in Canva and then hit print, and it's going to order things for you. So there's a lot. We're not going to get into the print side of things. But I am curious, throw a 1 through 5 in the chat. 1, you have never used Canva, never touched Canva, didn't really know what it was. 5, you're maybe using it on a daily or weekly basis. I just want to see kind of what everybody's baseline is. Lori, if you want to shout it out, since I can't see the chats, if we've got a lot of 1s, a lot of in-betweens. Just kind of curious.
2s, 3s, a lot of 2s.
Okay, that's perfect.
2s and 3s, a lot of 2s and 3s. Some 1s though.
Okay.
A lot of 2s and 3s, so that's
awesome.
Good.
So the pricing, I know everybody like wants to know like, oh, well, how expensive is this? So I just wanted to get this out of the way. There's a free version. I would recommend if you are brand new and have never used it, just start with the free version. It has a lot of the functionality that you can kind of learn from. And then you'll see like a little crown by places throughout the app that you can't use it for if you have to have the paid version, but at least it gives you a concept of here's what I can do for free. Oh, I would really like to do that. It's worth to pay for, things like that. And it's pretty affordable, 120 bucks a year for one person. If you are doing the work yourself or you just want to share a login with your team, 120 bucks a year is very affordable when in terms of design software. When you think of the Adobe suite, which is could be hundreds of dollars a month. This is pretty easy and accessible. There's also Canva Teams, which is like something we use at Flower Clique because you can have different logins, and then so these little sticky notes are actually, they say my name at the bottom, like you can slap sticky notes on documents or comments or things that you want changed that maybe you don't want to do the work yourself, but you want somebody on your team to do, and then you just add those edits. So it's really great for collaboration. So those are kind of the 2 price tiers that I would recommend after moving from the free version, but just wanted to get that out of the way. So the why, these are just like my top 3 reasons why I love Canva and why it's so powerful. So of course we discussed the interface is super user-friendly, lots of different tools and resources that are easily accessible, and like I mentioned, it's more intuitive and less expensive than Photoshop or the other Adobe products. Number 2, it can help your business stay relevant and stand out in a competitive market. Pretty much, you open Instagram or Facebook and you will see something that's made by Canva in some way, shape, or form. So it's just kind of become one of those essential things that either you or somebody in your business really should utilize to your advantage so that you can stay competitive and relevant and with the trends. And then I just think it's number 3, it's a necessary tool to communicate digitally online. And we'll get into all the different ways that you can do that. So it's trusted by well-known companies. Just wanted to throw that out there. And yesterday I was actually on Costco.com and I'm like, this graphic looks really familiar. I think they used this template that's a pretty popular template within Canva. They obviously manipulated it quite a bit, but you can see that even the biggest brands are really utilizing Canva and not, having those really expensive design software and a high-level graphic designer doing it, because this just makes more sense in terms of how much it costs and how easy it is. So that was just kind of my little, I'm like, oh wow, I know that template. All right, so let's get into the how. I think this first, okay, so you have your home court here. This, you can type in canva.com and use it just in any web browser like Google Chrome or whatever you use, and you'll see this. I personally, you can also download it as an app on your computer, so it's almost like its own little piece of software. That's what I do, but you can easily log in on your computer and also on your phone. There's also an app, the Canva app. So this is your home court. This is what you'll see. It's kind of, a lot of different things. It's going to show you your recent designs that you've done. and the sidebar, which we'll do a little, I'll click into that live for you. The sidebar, so when you're in a document, these are kind of the things that are important to look for on the side panel here. So you have your elements. Your elements can be things like shapes and lines and arrows. It can be graphics. You can type in sketch of a pink heart and it will bring up, you know, illustrations of pink hearts. There's also an AI image generator, which I will demonstrate. You can type in field of flowers and it'll show you pictures of fields of flowers that you can use for free, royalty free. So Elements is just nice if you need something other than like a graphic or a photo that you're using personally. Then there's the text. So this little text, this is where you can add text boxes and choose from their hundreds or thousands of different fonts that they have available. They also have some font combinations, which are really nice, that kind of are font pairings and stylings that you can use to then change the text out, which is nice. Uploads. So this is where you're going to upload all of your own stuff that you can then use in projects, whether that's photos, videos, audio. Those are the three main things there. You can do GIFs too, or GIFs. And then design. So this top tab is where you're going to find templates. Templates I will talk about on the next page here quickly. So templates are your training wheels. So for instance, when I were back in the day opening Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, you know, you're getting a blank canvas that then you have to know which font pairings to use, the color palette you want, the grid to make sure everything's aligned. So it's very similar to like a floral design, right? You have to have your principles and elements of design in order for it to look professional and look like, you know, something that you're proud of. So templates are kind of like the training wheels for that, where there's all kinds, no matter what kind of project or digital media you need to make, there's a template for it that kind of already has everything laid out, that looks really nice, that you just have to plug in your own photos and text into. So the templates are kind of where you should start if you're brand new, because they're already going to integrate all of those professional qualities that you want to see in something. With that, you know, I mean, templates for Instagram posts and stories and Facebook and TikTok and, you know, even invitations. I was designing some invitations for Lori's son, you know, like print invitations, all kinds of things. So the one thing with templates that I recommend when you select a template is to always duplicate it. So the first thing you do, you duplicate that template. So then you can see, you can always have that as a reference point, rather than if you just start messing with the template, sometimes you can go very far away from what the original template was and what made that successful. So duplicate the template, and then you can get into customizing it with your own font or your own colors and things like that. Okay, this I recorded prior. This is just a screen recording of me taking that template and trying to duplicate it from the Costco one.
Ellie,
So I just wanted
a question just for confirmation. You can use the templates are free in Canva?
Some of them are free. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you pay, they're all free.
Right.
The free version has some free. Yeah.
Right. It will show you, Melanie. It will have a little like, see where those crowns, some of the things will show like pro, and you won't be able to click on them. Yep. It will show you some really cool templates and you'll want them and that it will want you for a paid subscription. So you'll see the ones that you can't have.
Yep. So here you can see I just kind of put a paper texture behind to kind of mimic that. And then I'm grabbing this bottom color here, that blue. So you can use the eyedropper to match the colors. I'm copying it and I'm putting it at the top. So it's just kind of a quick view of how to do it. And then we're going to get into it in real time, slowly. But I guess the point with this is like, if you see something you like and you want something similar, you can screenshot it, put it into Canva, and then pull the colors from it, and really duplicate it on your own here. These are all the fonts on the side. And then let's see. Adding the text to the bottom. Is there any other questions in the meantime?
Zach is just typing in. He typed into questions in chat saying Pro is 100% worth the money.
Yes, for sure.
I said we agree. We use it daily.
Yep. So then I was gonna go clip this exact image and use the background remover, but for some reason it didn't work. There you can see the whole thing. So instead I decided to make it like, I'm like, why am I copying a mattress graphic? Why don't I make it floral specific? So we switched gears, and I'm gonna actually add this flower. This image was actually generated in Canva by AI. So I'm putting that in to that frame, which you just drag it over and it pops in. And then I'm removing the background of the one, but it keeps wanting to pop in. So I'm gonna lock, it'll show it here in a second. I'm like struggling to, so I'm locking that bottom layer, and then that won't move. So then I'm putting it on top, that second image, so it kind of has a 3D effect popping outside of the frame. And then just matching up that. Let's see here. Oops. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can get to the end of it. I added a gradient behind it. I added some text, and you can see how, you know, you can tweak things for your own. So also the point is, if you see something online, don't be afraid to try to replicate it as applicable for the floral world, using that as a base. So that's that. Okay, so next, the brand kit. The brand kit is another part of Canva that is really powerful. It's kind of in your tools on your homepage. There's this brand kit, and you can input your logo. Maybe you have like two sizes of your logo, or like a square one and a horizontal one. You can put those in. You can put in your brand colors. So if you have 4 specific colors that are you know, specific to your brand, put those exact colors in. The fonts that your brand uses, all of your brand assets, like your photos, maybe photos of your store or photos of your team, things like that. Anything that relates to your business, you put in this brand kit, and then you're gonna have access to that brand kit in every document that you start to make, which then makes it very easy to stay consistent in your colors that you use and things like that, when all of your brand colors are right there in the side panel to use. It's also really nice if you are outsourcing this, or you have maybe a part-time college student or whoever it is that isn't you. It's nice to have this brand kit to say, okay, this is the constraints to stick within, so that everything in your brand remains consistent online, which then reinforces the visuals of your brand. Every time somebody sees it, they start to recognize, oh, this is flowers, etc., or whatever.
The brand kit is in Pro, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brand kit is in Pro, so it's another reason to do that.
Right.
So then outside of, you know, the templates and the layouts and things like that, it's really similar to Photoshop in the way that you can just edit photos. There's an auto adjust button, one-click button, and it really kind of cleans it up, lightens it if you don't want to manually edit things. So that's a nice feature. The Magic Studio is relatively new, and it seems like it's changing quite a bit, not too much, but it is evolving. where you can, take out the backgrounds, you can change the color of something, you can add, similar to ChatGPT, where it can generate text for you, things like that. So that's the Magic Studio. We'll touch on it a little bit, but that's kind of a whole other part of Canva that they've been building out for quite a while. Okay, so we're at 23 past. We're doing good on time. We're going to get into the live demos here. And so also, I say it at the end, but this entire presentation was also made in Canva. So if you're trying to do a proposal or you need to do like a PowerPoint for somebody, you can do it in Canva and then use this present button, and it's pretty great. And you still have all of the fun design resources. Vonda, I think this is next on your list to learn to do presentations in Canva. Okay.
All right, will do. I'll try.
So okay, so here you can see this one I was working on yesterday, how that kind of changed. All right, so first we're going to focus on editing before we get into the design. So I have this photo, as you saw in the slide there. Click on the photo. So of course you've uploaded that photo, right? You've just dragged and dropped it, or you found it from your computer and uploaded it. And then you're going to click on the photo so that you can see the bounding box, the highlight here. And you're clicking Edit Image. This is going to pull up a bunch of tools. The one that I showed you before, the Adjust, this Auto Adjust, that's just kind of the one-touch thing. You can also select an area. So say you want the background to be darker so that the subject pops. So you're going to select the background, and then maybe you're going to make it a little bit darker. So this is a nice feature where you can, select whole image, foreground, or background to then play with. It actually is nice if the background is too like yellow. Sometimes when you shoot on white, it can make the white background have like a slight yellow tint to it or a slight blue tint to it. So you can course correct that by changing the color temperature and the tint. So let's see, selecting the background here and say it's pretty blue right now. I want it to be more neutral. This isn't the best example because it's not a direct product shot, but you can see how sliding this changes the background. You can also make it brighter. So all of these things, I would say err on the side of caution with getting too click happy on all of these settings, but there are a lot of good ones depending on exactly what you need. So that's ways you can manipulate just the image. So say we want to, this is a white background, right? I shot this on a white seamless. I want to remove the background so I can put something behind it. We're going to go to Effects, and we're going to go to Background Remover. This is a pro feature. And with one click, it completely popped the background out of it. Now I can go in, if I want to select the canvas, and maybe I want to put a gradient behind it or put a color, or maybe I want, I don't know, nature. I don't know, maybe I want something behind it. These get pretty cheesy, but it's possible. You can put it behind. So you can see how it's a pretty clean cut with the clipping. It's not perfect. For instance, professionally, like Flower Clique doesn't use this for our images, but it's nice if you have some product shots that you just need them clipped quickly. This works for that. Let's see if there's anything else on this one that I wanted to show. Magic Edit. Let's try. I want to see if, let me take this background away. want to see if I can make this butterfly a different color. So let's do magic edit, which it looks like that's a free thing. I'm going to zoom into my butterfly here. I'm going to take my brush so it's tiny. And I'm going to paint over my butterfly. Oh, I got a little bit off the lines. Okay. Well, that's not perfect, but let's change the butterfly to pink. Generate. Not bad. It's not super natural, but the purple looks good. Yeah, you could tweak it a little bit. I've changed this in Photoshop, so I think they're getting better in Canva, but I've actually changed like a carnation to a rose. So that's something to play around with. This is getting better every day. Oh, where did my image go?
That's been happening to me lately.
Yeah, anytime with the AI features, like they're fun, but that's not my main selling point for Canva for everybody.
Right.
Like they're fun, they're updating constantly. In this case, I would have to redo that probably, or just refresh the whole screen and it'd probably come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heather says that you could actually duplicate the photo and move it to the back and edit the transparency, and it looks really awesome when you do that.
Move it to the back.
Duplicate the photo, move it to the back, and then edit the transparency. Make it look awesome.
Yeah, there's someone in the back. Okay, you'll have to show me, Heather. Okay, so then I think, okay, this is just another one we can clip the background out of. So say you just have a container that you wanna, that's pretty simple and straightforward, but it's not the best. I would probably adjust the brightness on that and shadows and clarity. Let's try to change, I think this one worked, changing this color vase to blue.
While you're doing that, someone is asking, can Canva AI Photoshop the background out too?
Photoshop the background out. Yeah, that would be the background remover, I think. Yeah. I'll show you that again in a second. Change to blue. Yeah, that one turned out nice.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I did that one today too. But the background remover, yeah, you Photoshop. So if you click edit image, background remover, is that what she's talking about?
Yeah, she was asked, well, you showed that, but I guess she was asking if AI could do it too. Like if you just typed into the, yeah, edit
in
out
Canva?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't need to since there's just this button for it, and it does use Magic Studio is the AI part, so technically, yes, AI is taking out the background.
Bonnie says this is some voodoo.
I know, it's pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
So yeah, this was just another background remover, and you can see, again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I would probably take this out since it looks like it's floating, which you can then click on the photo, click on the background remover, and then erase more. So I would just erase that little part so it doesn't look like it's weird and floating. And there you go. And this was an example. I just added a background behind it. There's also Magic Expand. There's a lot with this. You can put like a drop shadow. There's different filters. So this is like the photo editing. Of course, you can crop it, but also you can just use these corners, drag these edges. I don't know why that one's a dud. That one's not working. But you can, oh wow. Well, Canva's tired today. But so that's the point with edit. I'm going to show you a few other things here. So here's a template. Let me go back here for a second. Hold up. So this is the home page, right? This is what you see with the home. You can either go up to create a design, and it has some options here. So that one I just showed you was Instagram story. So it's going to automatically size it for the placement that you need it for. You can also type in, say you want to do a mood board. There's mood board templates. There's a template for anything. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And then you can also use these icons to search. So if you're trying to make something that's like an 8.5 by 11 letter size, there's templates there. Social media, of course, is the big one that people will be using a lot, I would imagine. All the different sizes for Facebook, for LinkedIn, for Instagram stories, etc.
These 8.5 by 11 flyer ones are great for your busy holidays. Put your specials on, just upload the 3 things you want to feature, make quick flyers, print them out, or send them to like Staples or wherever, have them laminated.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
To use in your store.
While I'm on the homepage here, I just wanted to show you, so that Magic Studio is the AI portion. There's one thing that's kind of interesting to me, Magic Design. So say we have a design that we want to use. Hold on a second here. Magic Design. Start from, okay, so if you go to templates, start from media, and I just uploaded this new sympathy image. So I just want them to kind of tell me what to do with this image that I want to feature. So I uploaded the image. And then I'm going to refresh because it's not loading it. There we go. And it's going to have all these different options for if you want it to be a Instagram story or a post or whatever. It's just kind of plop it in. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing, kind of as a starting point of like, oh, actually, I think this feature would look best here. So that's one feature of the Magic Studio that's nice. The other one is, let's see here. Projects. So projects is where you can organize all your stuff. So like we have all of our email marketing templates in one folder and things like that. So it's really nice to be able to see everything in one place. Templates, you guys know about the templates. They kind of tell you what's trending and what the new templates are that you can kind of use to to stay relevant and what you may like, and mood boards. Super fun.
Katie Adams, thank you for sharing this. Ellie, she said that she pays $15 a month for Pro, but she also mentioned that she's used the Canva print shop, and they are and they have very high quality material. She's been
That's good to know. We've never used.
No, and remember we
Canva.
talked about using them the other day when we were needing that. She said it's where I create and print my wedding and marketing material.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's really good to know. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for sharing that. A couple other things. There's a content planner, so you can go in and actually connect your social accounts and make the designs in Canva and then schedule them in Canva and post them. We haven't used it a ton, but I know a lot of people do and love it. Okay, so let's get back to where I was before. Say we want to make a spotlight. So this would be like, I guess we can just use, our logo, and let's see here, take this off. Actually, I like this logo better. And then we want to highlight Donna, which I have her photo here. We're just going to copy that. And then say we want to have them type something. Let's see, Magic Write. Write a paragraph about Donna, our new sales and membership executive. And you would give it more information, of course, but yeah, so it's giving you a lot of information directly. So instead of going to ChatGPT and pulling in a nice paragraph about how Donna is an invaluable asset to your team, you can use this and then edit it. And so I think that's a cool feature. And then once you have that done, click the share button, download, and then this is kind of where you'll select the download settings. I would say for like social, you could use JPEG or PNG. JPEG is going to be smaller file sizes, so it might be easier to kind of, if you have to put it on your phone, or if you're down, you can download it from your phone on the Canva app. And then you can choose the size you want, the quality, things like that, and then download. So that's Instagram stories. We also use it, and I think you guys will also use it if you're wanting to do email marketing. So we have all of our, like this is one example of small graphics that we put in our newsletter every month. And basically we will copy, duplicate that page, and then I change up the colors, I change up the photos, and obviously the content within it. But it's nice to then also see what you did the month before, and kind of like stay consistent with the brand, but still refreshed for the proper season and month. So that's that. And then we also do like recipes in the newsletter, so you can see they all have the same kind of consistent look. And this down here at the bottom, this is where you see the grid view. You can close the grid view and then be able to scroll page by page. You can also organize the pages. So if you want to move things around, you can move things around, which is nice. And then to zoom in and out on the pages, you're just hitting Command and then the plus or minus. And you can also, I think, use this scroll bar here to zoom in and out. Okay, makes sense. Let's see. Can't see my top bar here. Okay, another thing for email graphics that we like to do is make GIFs or GIFs. I think that's how it is pronounced. So for instance, like this template was one that had this little like text bubble here that I thought was fun. It's just like a tiny bit of movement that catches an eye in an email. So to download that, you would download as a GIF, which is just a short clip. It's low enough file size that you can attach it to an email or insert it into an email and it's fine. And then you would just select that one page and download it. So that's, I think GIFs are really great. We also use them sometimes for web banners. So you'll see a lot online wherever you can use a JPEG or a PNG, you can also use a GIF for some movement. Another thing that's great for Florists specifically is making product tiles or product banners. So say you have, need to move, got so many windows here, sorry guys. So you want maybe a designer's choice product on your website. If I could move my floating panel here. Okay. So let's make an image. A lot of times with designer's choice, you know, if you use a real image, like, or a real color palette, even though it says designer's choice, we all know that the customer is upset if they didn't get that purple bouquet that they saw in the designer's choice. So that's where AI is actually nice. Somebody tell me what to type in. Like flower bouquet with these kinds of flowers or this color palette. Somebody give me a prompt.
Raise your hand and I can unmute you.
Or you could type it in.
Click, or you can chat it in. Mary says a dozen roses. And then Katie says add, plus she likes wildflowers. And Elizabeth says tropical. So.
What color roses? Pink? Let's do pink.
Yeah, let's do pink.
Dozen pink roses in a glass vase. And then the style, we're just gonna do none, and we're gonna do it in a square. So let's see what it gives us. This one might be a little interesting. But like this one I generated with AI, and it's not bad. It's just kind of ambiguous. Oh yeah.
Not horrible.
Not horrible.
Had worse.
So, and then I'm gonna put in space for text and see if it gives me a little more space for me to put in my heading here. So I'm going to duplicate this page so I can use this. Okay. Well, these two aren't bad. These two obviously won't work. So say it's close, but like, I don't love it. Where am I working? The other thing you can do, put that in there. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, and then these three little dots here, you can select generate more like this, and that will give you closer options to the one that you like the best. But yeah, I just like to zoom kind of far in here, maybe position it how I want, but yeah, not terrible. I mean, for it being built in, of course there's Mid-Journey, which is like high level image generation, but for kind of basic things where people are only gonna see a small thumbnail, I think Canva, the image generation is pretty good for this type of thing. Like these are AI So that's that. Anybody have any questions on the image generation? So it's under elements and then AI image generator. Generate your own. You can also generate videos, but the ones that I've tried are not very good. So I would stick to images. And then you can also choose different styles, which is interesting. So you can kind of play around with that if you want kind of a different look or something more maybe ambiguous, not so like realistic looking. That works for that.
Yeah, Katie says she really likes that concept of zooming in.
Yeah, because a lot of times the vase is weird and there's certain parts that are weird, but if you can crop in, sorry, did I just freeze?
No, you're good.
If you can kind of crop into part of it, it's just kind of a nice background. You can also specify, like, so for this one, I specified like a gray stucco background. You can get as specific or as vague as you want with your prompts. Okay, a couple other use cases that I wanted to show. If you guys do designer resource guides or things like that for your designers, we make ours here in Canva and we collaborate as a team so everybody can kind of like edit it and look at it from afar. So you can see, you know, you have your recipe pages. These are formatted on 8.5 by 11, so they're easy to print. And, you know, just features or collections. It's nice, it's professional looking. And then for the next holiday, all you have to do is make a copy of it, and then you can kind of swap out for the new season or the new holiday with those changes. And then this is what Lori was talking about before with the sales sheets, or this is one example for sales sheets, kind of have your 3 featured products, a nice little one sheet to sit at the front counter for customer facing. Good. Web banners. I mean, it's kind of the same concept as the other things. It's just, it's nice to have, again, I think a lot of these are AI images. And then I'm just selecting the font I want to use. I'm adding a button, which is really just a shape. Changing the colors, you know, you can kind of do everything. And then this resize, if you have, you know, a specific size, or maybe you have 2 sizes you want it to, you can change. So say we have this banner, which is 2880 by 860 pixels. Say I wanted to change it to 900 by 900 square. I want to do that to maybe just the first 3 pages, 4 pages. Continue. So this magic switch is nice because it'll kind of copy and resize, and then it's going to make a new document for you. And it's going to copy all of the assets over in that new format. The majority of the time you're going to have to kind of move things around a little bit, but it is nice if you're trying to make things in different sizes rather than, you know, it's an easy copy paste into a new size. So that's that resize and magic switch. Another basic little function is this group. So you can group all these elements together rather than have it be a separate arrow, a separate text, and a separate background. And then lastly, the last thing I wanted to show was like an Instagram carousel. So there's all kinds of templates for that. And of course I need to find the one that I just was using. I guess we could use a different one. Oh, there it is. Okay. So if you click into that, you can see that there's all these different pages here. And say you want to do one on how to maximize the life of your blooms. You're going to add in your Instagram handle there, or maybe a logo. And then what I did was, I'll just generate it again here. I used Magic right. Provide 5 ways to maximize the life of fresh flowers. Okay, those are 5 ways. I think the other one I generated was a little more in depth. But you can retry it if that's not the right answer that you like. And then you insert it. And then, so it's almost as if Canva is not only just for design, but to help you generate the content within it. So I'm just going to make this smaller and put it on a new page so I can see what the tips are. But then that becomes your tip number 1 is keep them hydrated. And then maybe you have a small blurb underneath with another font, and then you have you can insert your second page, which is slightly different, but it all still is cohesive so that when somebody's swiping on Instagram for a carousel, it looks nice and professional. And then the last page, you always want to have like some sort of like a hook to follow for more tips. So, and then within the template style, it's kind of fun that you can change this out. So if you click on the template style and then shuffle, if you don't like that color palette, you can shuffle it. So it's the same color palette, but just kind of changed in the ratios of where it's at. So it's kind of fun. And then of course, yes, you download it, all 5 pages, and then you can also have it connected to your social, which is nice, especially if you're using Canva on your phone, then you can have it connected and just it'll like import directly into Instagram or Facebook. This is how you share it with people if you want it shared. Okay, so I think that's all the live demos I'm gonna do for the moment, for the day. I have a few more slides and then I can get to questions if we have time. Okay, so basically to bring it home, how do these efforts translate to revenue? And why is it good to make that effort? So when you have a consistent look, I think, you know, our members on here can speak for that. When you have a look that your web banners are professional and have the actual products in it that you're selling that then match the same, you know, font styles and selections on your product tiles, and then, you know, the real shoppable products. Nothing makes me more mad than when I'm like shopping and I see a banner and it has a dress on it and I want that dress, and then I go to that category and I can't find that actual dress. And so that's when your drop off will happen a lot. People see something and they get attached to that and they want it. So that when you can have your web banners have the actual products that are relevant to what you're selling on your site at the time, just kind of having that whole consistent look makes a big difference. And then you translate it from your website into your marketing and social. So your email graphics have that same Monet butterfly garden tote on it. Then your social posts are kind of the realistic customer generated photos version of what's on your site and in your graphics on your emails. It just reinforces the point at every part of the customer journey to make those sales more successful and, you know, make everybody happy. And then on the back end and customer facing, having the ability to make those designer resource guides so your team is all on the same page on what they're making, and it's more fun and it looks pretty when they can have it right in front of them. Having those client mood boards, I didn't even show you the templates for the mood boards, but there's some beautiful client mood boards that you can just drop in your own images and pick your colors and print them out or just send them to the client for weddings or events. And then the sales sheets. So that's the ecosystem. That's the whole point of why personally we think Canva is so great and why it's important for you and your team to learn it. And I hope you guys learned some stuff. As all of this done with quality and effort translates to cash. And then, like I said, the entire presentation was also made in Canva. So that was a lot.
Good job.
There's going to be a
Very good.
replay. I know this was kind of basic for some of you, maybe overwhelming for some of you. So there's different sides of the spectrum. We will have a replay that I'll send out here, hopefully this afternoon. The one last thing I wanted to say, I've been thinking about making some sort of a masterclass for Canva. Like maybe it's a mini course or just a course that has kind of the full functionalities of Canva specifically for florists. So I've been thinking about it, and the price would be $4.95. I didn't want to, like, you know, so that'd be the price. So if anybody's interested, I need to have enough people interested in order to make it. But if you're interested, shoot me an email or put it in the chat or whatever. Yeah, Ellie@flowerclick.com.
We do have just a couple questions. Do you have
Yeah.
time for those?
Yeah.
Katie has a question. She was piggybacking off the idea when you were talking about resizing the same image.
Mm-hmm.
Back. She wants to know if you figured out a way to create a marketing campaign in just all one look. For example, you need a social media post, a flyer, and a cover photo for an event you're doing. Can you tell Canva in AI to make all three look alike?
Maybe. I would just use the magic resize.
Yeah.
Or in theory, if you're using your brand colors and your brand fonts in your brand kit, then you would make a flyer and then you would apply those same colors and images. Kind of like how we did like with this, you know, it's kind of the same, where you're using the same image, you're using the same fonts, you're using the same colors places. I haven't explored if it's that easy with to say to can't. I don't think it is. Maybe it is, but I do things a little bit more manually. But that's a great question.
Yeah, yeah. And then Judy just had a comment. She said, if you're generating content using AI, I think she's talking more about videos. Said she would strongly recommend editing the info, the voice to sound more like you versus having that AI generated voice content.
Yeah, I would go as far to say I would use your own voice. I would record like a voice memo on your phone or something.
AI voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then one more. Do you know, if you're making a video, can you blur out the background?
If it's your own video?
When you're making a video.
I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah.
I'd probably recognize the foreground and the background the same and blur the background. Otherwise, I think your phone has a setting to blur the background. Or like portrait mode video.
Portrait mode video
would blur the background.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Our next session is Tuesday, July 16th. So you've got, we've got a few weeks, but we will be back for Nature Walk. This is after we all get back from AIFD and kind of digested some trends from that and some other stuff that we've been researching. So trends for 2024 and beyond, and then a recap from AIFD. So that would be the 16th. And with the replay email that you'll get, this registration will also be in it. So you'll have it to register for the next one.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, guys.